one of the trickiest things to deal with when you're blind is crossing roads, not because you can't see the cars, but because when there's a car coming and they start going, no, you can go, I can't see that, so I'm just stood there like an idiot, and like they're just like, why is she not crossing? And then I realise, oh, they probably want me to cross first, so then I'm like trying to cross, and then they start going again, and it's just like they're probably thinking, why is this girl not going? Because I don't look blind, I suppose, so like I just look weird. Like I was just crossing the road then, and I went to cross and the car started going in, so I was like, oh, I'll step backwards, but then the car stopped, so then I was like, oh, shall I go? And I'm guessing in my head they're going like, you can go, but I can't see that.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cooke. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Does anybody else get tired of having autism? Because I do. I really do. I'm glad I know that that's what it is. At first I thought I was just lazy or unmotivated or unorganized or disorganized. So I'm glad I have context, but my God, context does not negate the discomfort of having autism, of craving connection and productivity and just regular shit, and your body, your brain completely disagreeing with you, your agenda, your plans, your goals, and it is so freaking hard. It's so freaking hard. Exhibit A, okay? All I want to do is lay down, but I was like, I'm gonna put this video out. It's just something I'm really just trying to try this year, is taking content creation seriously, and all I want to do is lay down. This year I decided one of my number one main goals was I wanted to connect with other people. I have been in isolation, and at first I thought it was solely because I was an introvert, and it's deeper than that. The outside world, human interaction being perceived is a lot. It's a lot. So I usually stay at home. I usually stay in the house. I work a job. I work from home. So I made it a goal to try to connect. So over the past, what day is it even? Oh, the 19th of January. Yeah, no. It's really been the past 19 days. I have been connecting with people, not via social media. I'm talking in-person interactions, and tired in a different, new kind of way. I mean, I'm going to like events. I'm proud of myself because I'm doing it. But I hate that autism makes doing it so difficult. But I mean, I'm wearing these sunglasses in the house all day, because even the lights around the house, even the natural sunlight coming in through the windows, it's just not, I can't want to dress cute and wear, what everybody else is wearing, but you're so touched out that like clothes feel impossible, so you're wearing like the same 3 pairs of sweatpants, because it's the only way you're going to be able to get through whatever the event is and not have a meltdown, because you're uncomfortable in your clothes and also uncomfortable in your environment. Every little thing takes so many beans. It takes so much to do so little. Trying to connect with people and only being able to mask for so long, and then your mask starts to slip and you're still not as confident in your unmasked self, and hoping that they don't think that you're a weirdo or that you're strange, or that they would rather not be in your company. If you can relate to that, you are not alone. You're not by yourself. And it sucks to be made so beautifully complex in a world that is so boxy and insensitive. You're doing a good job. You're doing amazing. I'm proud. Do not punish yourself and force yourself. and push yourself past capacity. You're loved, you're perfect, just the way you are. And remember that it's not all bad. We have our moments, we have our rants, we have our days where we are way too overstimulated and way too exhausted. And we have to recharge, we have to rest, do what you need to do. But remember that being autistic has so many beauties and so many joys too. I get exhausted and tired of it, but it's a part of who I am. It's a part of who you are, or your loved ones. It's a part of who they are. And it's absolutely exceptional. Love you. Bye.
Oh my god, this is one of the worst things I have done with my low vision. I am catching a bus with low vision and I cannot read the bus numbers. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to hail every bus. I'm freaking out. I have anxiety. I don't know how I'm gonna get this bus. Okay, I've zoomed in on my phone. I see a bus coming. Can't read the numbers, so I'm just gonna hail it. This is like raw footage of what it's like having a disability when you just really struggle with something. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to where I need to go. They say there is transport for people with disabilities, but you still can't access it with a disability. You can't read the numbers if you're vision impaired. You can't get on the bus, you get on the wrong one, you upset people, people get mad at you. There is no inclusion. This is not for sympathy, it's for awareness. People say that there is public transport for people with disabilities, so we shouldn't rely on government funding. Well, I have 30% vision and I just tried to catch a bus. I got on the wrong one twice because I can't read the bus numbers. Make that make sense. When I got on the second bus, the guy was like really angry that I had hailed him down, but what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get around? Society is not inclusive. Society is not built for people like me with disabilities. It's not that hard to just make the bus numbers bigger so I can actually get places. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. This applies to so much more than just a bus. It applies to anything that has writing and signage. Just make it bigger. Surely if I make enough noise, someone will hear me and changes can be made. Sorry for the rant, and I know I don't normally do this on here, but oh my god.
So I live with a vision impairment. I was born with both my retinas detached. So I have no vision in my right eye and only very, very partial in my left. So I'm clumsy, I fall around, I grab onto random guys all the time. Anyway, so I've never had a driver's license because I don't qualify. Okay, cool. I love a good bus. I love a good book. I don't read a book. I just go on Grindr. Anyway, so I've been applying for jobs, right? And it's all this driver's license essential, driver's license essential. And unless I'm applying for a bus driver, I don't need no driver's license. I can get around. I can get the bus. I can get the train. I can open up a magic portal like Doctor Strange does. I mean, Benedict Cucumber can take me anywhere he wants. But we need to move on from driver's license essential. You know, we've got Uber, we've got all different ways, we've got Zoom, we've got Teams, we've got all of those things. And yeah, so that's my little rant for the day. Back to my vision impairment though. So no one knew until I was about 13. So I kept falling over, couldn't ride a bike, couldn't watch 3D movies, couldn't kiss a girl. My mum finally took me to Dr. Wong, this cute little ophthalmologist. And he's like, Muggy, your son's legally blind. And she's like, really? So yeah, anyway, wish me luck.
The NDIS has just made me see red. So backstory, I got my autism diagnosis in November last year. I qualify for the NDIS. I applied in January, gained access in May, and I haven't heard from them. I've called them. I've walked into my local office being like, what's going on? I need my planning meeting. It is now the end of July and they've sent me a message this morning saying you're going to get a private call. I have told them several times on my good days when I phone them, but then also when I've gone into the office and been like, I have an auditory processing disorder, which is part of my disability, so can you please not call me? And if you need to call me, can you please arrange it via email, right? No email, nothing. Anyway, this morning they call me within the exact same minute that they've sent the text message. So that's on me. I've missed the first one. The second time I had my phone on loud, I was prepared, I was ready. They call, I'm driving, so I pull over, go to answer, and they hang up. And it ran 3 times. That's it. It didn't even ring the full amount. So like, cool. It is so hard for people with a disability to get the support and help we need. Like, if talking on the phone is a barrier because of my disability, why are we still trying to do the phone calls? You know? So I am really revved up. I'm probably going to eat and go into the office. Like, this is just not good enough. I've just been sitting in limbo land for so long now, like being like, okay, well, when can I gain the support that I actually need? This is so frustrating. And I am lucky that my disability doesn't affect my daily functioning as much as other people, but this is actually cooked. This is cooked. If anyone has any tips and tricks, let me know. But I need to go calm myself down. Holy shit.
I can't believe I'm sharing this online, but I think we need to bring awareness to it, and that's disability discrimination in the workplace, because this has happened to me previously. If you're new here, my name's Shamiha, and I'm late diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and let's just get straight into it. So just to preface and say, this is not my current workplace. My current workplace are amazing, but in my last workplace, I did experience severe disability discrimination. And this was mainly to do with my ADHD. So unfortunately, although I was working for a disability confident employer, the managers just had no understanding of how ADHD really can affect you, particularly if you don't have medication. And this was really frustrating for me to deal with, because they actually decided that because I wasn't working in the way that they wanted me to work, that the head of service decided that I should potentially be put on a management plan. Now, I was completely distraught, because first I was blindsided and I'm autistic, so that was not great. Nobody had made any comments about my work before this, and they couldn't give me a reason as to why I would be put on a management plan. I then brought this up with Unison, and obviously this got thrown away immediately because there was no grounds for this. But I felt really unsupported in that environment, and I felt like my disability was the problem, when really the problem was that they didn't provide me reasonable adjustments, and I'd been at the workplace for 2 years. So I told them that there's no way I'm allowing you to put me on a management plan when you've not given me reasonable adjustments. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that it's illegal to not give someone reasonable adjustments. And I really wanted to take them to tribunal, but then I just left it because it was really, really affecting my mental health. But ADHD discrimination in the workplace is so common because ADHD impacts our productivity, and it affects the way that we work. And unless we have medication and the adjustments that we need, then that would mean that we would fall back, or we wouldn't work in the way that they want us to work. I'm really glad I'm away from that toxic workplace. It was really, really toxic. And I'm in a much better place now. But has anybody else had experience of this? And what did you do? And this is one of the reasons why I have so much like PTSD of like joining new workplaces, because I'm always scared that I'm gonna face discrimination. But let me know your comments in the chat box down below. Take care.
I'm so tired of people that don't see and make space for the disabilities of others, seeing that as disrespect. Because an autistic person chooses not to talk to you because they may be dysregulated or overstimulated, doesn't mean they're trying to disrespect you. Just because an ADHD person may get distracted or may interrupt you does not mean they are disrespecting you. Just because somebody with invisible disabilities choose not to disclose their disabilities to you does not mean they're trying to disrespect you. See, I have a highly sensitive nervous system because of the abuse that I've gone through. So I tend to be very distant in my close or whatever relationships. And people I have seen historically always see that as disrespect. It's like, does he think he's better than me? He won't share his presence. You don't know what's going on in people's lives, bro. So don't project. Everybody is living life from their own perspective. Everyone has their own story, their own experiences. Unless you ask and take the time to get to know someone, you don't know why they do what they do or where they're going or what they're trying to create. So don't make assumptions, because you end up just looking like an a-hole. And you know what the A stands for? The A is assumption. Stay humble, stay teachable.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Every once in a while, I start stuttering. Like, I will legitimately stutter and be unable to get words out. And I find that it tends to happen when I'm very overstimulated and there's a lot of noise going on around me in the house, and I will try to speak and I can't get the word out. And I will either just completely drop it and just stop talking for a while, or I have to think really hard and come up with a different word to use. It's so frustrating, and in those times, I find it very physically hard to speak in general. I've never fully gone nonverbal, but I feel that way sometimes, and it is so physically hard to speak. But I try, and then I stutter, and it's so hard to get the words out. Just wondering if anyone else struggles with that, if it's an autistic thing, if it's something else. I don't know. It's just frustrating when it happens.
I know exactly what she is going through right now. I also stutter as well. And at times it's just a lot harder to speak, and at times you can't even get one single word out, and it actually sucks to have a speech impediment like that. So with stuttering, the more you speak, the less you stutter. But the more you think about speaking, the more you stutter. And if you get like anxious or scared or any negative emotion, then like your stuttering gets a lot worse, a lot faster as well. So it's just a lose-lose situation for people who stutter, just overall. Communication is actually very important, and if you lack that, you actually suffer a lot just overall. An example of this is a school presentation or just anything where you are on the spot. Like, it is scary for someone who stutters, and just overall,
Hi, I am super angry right now. I was supposed to go to an MRI appointment that I had to wait 2 weeks for because they wouldn't schedule me right until it had been 6 weeks from surgery. I don't know. That place is different, and it sucks because I have been in a lot of pain and I did wanted some answers, but unfortunately I am depending on medical transportation provided by my insurance, and it's not my insurance's fault. They were great, but the company that they use, BIB Transportation Services, if you're in Central Florida and you have to depend on them, I'm sorry, because today they were supposed to be here at 10:01 for my appointment at 10:45, and I was ready. I was waiting for them, and I tried to call to see at 10:25 what was going on because they were really late, and I was afraid I wasn't gonna make it. And then while I was calling the insurance, the driver calls me to tell me that they were 30 minutes away, like around 10:30, and my appointment was in 15 minutes, so they were 30 minutes away from me, and then to not counting the half an hour to 40 minutes that I live from the place, because I had to go to a specific stand-up MRI which has the upright position, and it's a little far from me. It's in downtown Orlando, and I live closer to Disney, so it's just very disheartening that I have been waiting for this appointment for so long, and I couldn't go because they couldn't accommodate me, because of course medical appointments are back to back. They should know this. So why send transportation that's gonna be late? Hoping that I got rescheduled for Friday, so I still have to wait almost a week for it, and I hope next time they're here on time, because I definitely need to go in my wheelchair, because after an MRI of lying still too long causes me a lot of joint pain. If you have EDS, you're always changing positions. I'm always like putting my legs up, moving around, because if you stay in one position too long, you feel stuck. So yeah, and today is wheelchair user day, and I'm proud to say, hey, I use my mobility aids and it's needed. So I definitely, for MRIs, always go with my wheelchair because it's just safer for me. So yeah, I just wanted to rant because I felt that I looked cute. I did all my stuff up, and like with Sailor Moon Power, I love Sailor Moon and Sailor Mars and Sailor Mercury are my top three, I think. But yeah, I just have to be independent again. I do have an interview coming up, so fingers crossed. I do not want to jinx it. More information later. I do need to work at least part-time so that I can be able to save up for a wheelchair accessible car for real, because it's crazy and it sucks. Like I want to be able to sing again like Beyonce. Oh, the woman making money. Oh, throw your hands up in the air. Yeah, like I want to be independent as much as I can while being chronically ill. So yeah, prayers please, like always. Love you, Zebra Strong. Hang in there. And today I have a group meeting, a hybrid group meeting with my Ernest Los support group. So I really hope to see you, whether if it's in person or online there. For those of you that know that I have a support group of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome for Orlando. If you want any information, feel free to comment and reach out. So, to my Zebra Dazzle, see you soon. At least I feel cute for you guys. Anyways, love you. Bye.
I had a really difficult time making friends. I was talking to my therapist about my inability to make like lasting friendships, and she was just like, it sounds like you've been isolated your whole life. You see enough traumatic things that happen to you with no emotion, as if it's normal. And then she was just like, I wonder if you had any stagnant in your social development and how you socialize with people. And then I was just sitting there like, this is why I don't come to therapy, because you didn't have to read a bitch like that. I decided to be optimistic and go to an event and socialize, and let me tell you, it's really overrated. I should have just stayed my ass home, ate my jerk chicken, enjoyed a good movie, and write my essay for class. And I did not know what to do with my body. I did not know where to stand. I did not know where to sit. I did not know who to talk to, what to say. And everyone keeps telling me just walk up to a group and start talking. Now, why the fuck would I do that? Why the fuck would I do that when every time I do that, people look at me like, what the fuck are you talking to me? And I only do that in places I feel safe in. Fuck social cues. Y'all lack human cues. Because how the fuck do I know people? And then they just act like they don't fucking know you. I don't get it. And I feel like in order to actually say I have a friend, I got to let them treat me like a goddamn pet or a sidekick. Why is it like this? I honestly think I socially developed fine. I think it's y'all.
You know what really irritates me? Just grinds my gears, bro? When I get comments that are like so angry at me for advertising my disability and making it my whole personality. And oh, I have nothing else going for me except my struggle. This is an autism page, guys. This is what my social media is centered around. Autism is one of my special interests, and special interests are all-consuming. My world revolves around my special interests. And if you look around, there are barely any ADHD Latina influencers, because we are the most underdiagnosed and misdiagnosed demographic. Like, oh, autism? No, can't be, just a crazy, spicy Latina. People are so quick to make assumptions. Like, you make this your whole personality, bro. You don't know me in person. You don't know me. Like, what? The purpose of this platform is centered around autism education and awareness. And as I learn more about myself and our community, I share it. And as I continue to share my experiences and be vulnerable with you guys, I'm able to see that I'm not alone, and hopefully it helps even one person feel less alone too. Anyways, I don't know if I should take this off before I go to Universal. I'm kind of torn. It looks nice and I worked really hard on it. I just feel like it's a lot. But I'm gonna be in Universal for the next 2 days and really excited. Also, I got my first tattoo. It's an elder wand and it says Expecto Patronum. Bye!
currently door dashing with my boyfriend, and he's inside of a restaurant, and I'm just chilling. I'm really trying to not get frustrated with anything right now. I'm working on that with my therapist, because I can't control other people. I'm trying to realize that I have no control over strangers. I can't get frustrated and mad for stuff they do because they're gonna do it. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, look at this freaking car right here. They're not supposed to be parked there. That is not a parking spot. That is for that handicap spot if someone was in a wheelchair. And I get frustrated by this because my mom is handicapped and she has to park in those spots because she is literally disabled. And I have friends who are in wheelchairs that are capable of driving, but what if my friend were to park there and she couldn't get out of her car because you parked there? Like, what the fuck?
Hey theater kids, I've been thinking, as a disabled performer, I'm really sick and tired of being told that I can't play certain roles because of my disability. When we talk about representation, it's usually about race, but there's a whole community of disabled performers who are not being represented on stage. And when we are being represented, the representation is not always accurate.
As a disabled person, if there was one thing I would love non-disabled people to understand, is that the healthcare system does not work for us the way it works for you. I'm an occupational therapist, and our healthcare system is set up under the medical model. The medical model is basically someone is sick, they have a disease, they come in and we fix that disease and then they are okay. The problem with the medical model is it does not jive with disabled people because you can't really fix us. We are disabled, our bodies are different, and we need to adapt more. So this becomes problematic when I, as a disabled person, am struggling. All my friends or family are always like, why aren't you going to PT? Why aren't you going to this doctor? Why aren't you going to this doctor? Because they just think in their brains as an able-bodied person, when they're not feeling well, they go to the doctor, they get fixed, and they go home. That is not what it works like for disabled people. Because our healthcare system isn't set up for disabled people. It is set up for healthy people, for when they get sick, for them not to be sick anymore. That is their goal. And what people don't understand is many times there's only a certain amount of treatments. So I have gastroparesis, I am struggling. Everyone's like, are you going to doctors? Are you going to doctor? I went to there are 6 specialists in the United States of America, and I went to one of them, and I already did everything that he told me to do. I tried it all because there's only a certain amount of things you can do. Did I go and see him anyway? Yes, because I'm not going to not. Did he help me? No. Has this happened to me dozens and dozens of times and becomes traumatizing? Yes. And another thing people don't understand is medical professionals don't like it when you're complicated. They don't like that they can't figure it out. So if you come a couple of times and you're not getting better and you're just struggling, they're kind of going to blame it on you or just be like, no, we can't help you anymore. They don't problem solve. It's not like House where they're trying to figure it out. They don't care because they're annoyed they can't figure it out. They're annoyed that you're complicated, and they just drop you. And then when you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to learn everything I can about my disability. I am an occupational therapist who has a profound understanding of cerebral palsy. That annoys them even more. Unless you were a pediatric OT/PT or speech therapist, it is very unlikely that you have more knowledge about cerebral palsy than I do. So when I step in somewhere, I just want to give them my knowledge, and I clearly don't have the knowledge of whatever profession they are, so I would like them to then give me their knowledge and we can collaborate. But that's not how it works because they don't like that I have a knowledge base that they don't. So what happens is you just keep struggling and you keep getting help and no one helps you, and it becomes really disheartening, and then all of your friends and family are constantly wondering why you're not seeking out more help. And the answer is because there really isn't a lot of help for disabled people. Society wasn't designed for us to thrive and live here. It was designed for us to be shut out and not a part of society. And now that we are, they're having a hard time fitting us into a society that wasn't made for us. So when your chronically ill or disabled friends are sometimes avoiding doctors, listen to the reason why, and don't talk about your own personal experiences, because you are able-bodied and it's very, very different. You go in and you get fixed. When you're disabled, you really don't get fixed, and no one wants to deal with you, and then they gaslight the shit out of you, and then you feel crazy, and then no one helps you, and then you're just in this cycle, and then you go back to your family and friends and they're like, well, why aren't you getting help? And it's like, I don't know what to do. The doctors get mad that I'm complicated and can't help me. They get mad that I do my own research and I find information that would help me so I can give to them so they can help me more. That makes them angrier. And then they get angry at you for advocating about a disability that you have that they know almost nothing about. So there's only so much someone can take before they crack.
I truly believe that the fucking source of my social anxiety, here we go, is because I'm a full-grown fucking adult who still has probably a moderate to severe stutter, honestly. Like, that's, like, meeting new people, it gets me so fucking anxious, because I have to, like, make it known, like, that, like, I'm gonna be stammering, I'm gonna get fucking stuck on words, because I'm fucking nervous. When I'm nervous, I'm sweating, I can't get through a fucking sentence without feeling I'm gonna pass out, because I, like, forget to fucking breathe. I don't even know, like, I've had to make, like, 3 phone calls just for appointments, just, like, quick appointments. I have to schedule an appointment with a dentist, because I've been cleaning in, like, 2 years. And I'm also anxious because I don't want to get fucking cavities, because I don't have dental insurance, I think, anymore. And it would take me 5 minutes to call and just schedule a time and date. That's fucking it. And I can't bring myself to do it. I can't, like, the thought of it makes I get, like, heart palpitations. Like, I fully cannot do any kind of phone call thing without taking a shot or having some sort of, like, substance in me. Also, why are we still having to make phone calls for, like, appointments or shit like that in 2023? Like, everything should be online. Like, just put your name, email address, phone number, fucking select availability. Why is that not, like, for everything now? Like, I can't do this. But I fully believe if I just didn't have a stutter, I would be unstoppable. I truly feel like, because I feel like my inner ego is, like, a very, what's the opposite of intro? Extroverted. I have a very, like, I feel like I would have a naturally extroverted personality, but and I've been to speech therapy my whole fucking life. I think it's genetics, and my grandpa fucking has a stutter, and he's fully, like he's elderly. I don't fucking know, but it's, like, no one talks. I feel like I never meet adults who have stutters. I feel like I'm, like, the little one, and apparently it's, like, common. I mean, people, like, grow out of it. I'm not that one. I'm not the lucky one. I still fucking have it. But, yeah, it's really fucking embarrassing when you're, like, 28 years old, and you just get fucking stuck. Like, bitch, like, no one cares. Bitch, like, why? Like, it's mental. It has to be.
And at times, courage actually overrides your stuttering. And so if you are fearless, then it will really help your speech and your overall confidence as well. I actually had a job interview about 3 years ago, I believe, and it was my dream job, right? But on the phone, I was, like, stuttering. I was really anxious and stuff like that, and I was actually, like, qualified for the job, but I lacked speaking skills, so I didn't get the job, and it sucked, honestly. And it was a really, really good job too. Great job at a great firm, and with amazing pay and benefits overall. Amazing job, but I didn't get it. And us who stutter, we we pass through a lot of these hurdles just overall in life, you know, and it is very, very hard to live with stuff like this, just overall, you know, but yeah.
Hi friends, I am back with another problematic healthcare worker story. So, living life with a visible disability, chronic illnesses, I get a lot of off-shot comments, stares, pointing, and not just on the internet, particularly on the internet, but sometimes in real life too. And normally let it slide, but when it's coming from healthcare workers, being a healthcare worker, it drives me so crazy. I am here getting my gastric emptying study, which means I just have to they fed me food, and then every hour for the next 4 hours I have to go and they'll take a scan. So a lot of waiting around. But when I was doing my initial intake, the technician was asking me the normal questions, and just asked about history of my gastric history or whatever, I don't know, and went into that I have spina bifida and scoliosis and scar tissue and all the things that contribute to my bowel issues. And she interrupts me while I'm giving her my medical history to tell me how, she's like, did you, so you were born with spina bifida? And I was like, yes, and scoliosis. So this is chronic issues. And she, do you know how lucky you are? Most people who are born with spina bifida don't walk. The fact that you're walking, you should be so grateful. You're so lucky. And I'm like, again, just, okay, I just said, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm very grateful. So anyways, back to what we were talking about, I understand, yes, I am very grateful for my abilities, and I feel like a lot of what I do with yoga and aerial and pole is me celebrating the gift of how mobile I am, and to be born with a spinal cord disorder and severe spinal issues, the fact that I can walk, the fact that I can spin around upside down in the air is a celebration. It is a blessing. But I'm here asking for a service, and I'm actually coming to you because I'm having chronic pain and chronic issues that are impacting my daily life in a very real way. And for you to interrupt me when I'm trying to give you background information, for you to project your opinion of what my life should look like, shouldn't look like, and say just project that she needed me to know that I need to be grateful, assuming that I'm not. And as someone that I've lived with this for 35 years, I'm well aware of what spina bifida is. I'm well aware of how it impacts everyone's life, from the spectrum of some people are born with it and they can't live past birth. I'm very aware of that. And it's just so problematic. And I don't know, maybe you guys can kind of give me some insight if you also live life in a different body. But it's just a really icky fucking feeling to have a medical professional tell me that I need to be grateful when I'm actually coming to you because I'm having problems. It's minimizing the pain that's very real to me, that I'm trying to find a solution to. I don't know, blah 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 blah, that was word vomit, but ugh, man.
I want to talk about the state of affairs in the job market and how Americans like myself with a invisible disability are treated. Pretty much every major job that I've had where I've had to utilize disability leave, FMLA, or anything where I needed to take time off, I've always been retaliated against. like in a major way, to the point that I've gotten terminated, let go, put on PIPs for the smallest thing, just to get me out the door once I used FMLA. I want to talk about the status of this country as an at-will state and how detrimental it is for those of us who are in the gap employees, those of us who have a disability, but it's not physical, like someone in a wheelchair or with a prosthetic or that physically looks ailing. To the naked eye, I look healthy, but I have 2 pre-existing health conditions that I've had since I was a child. And they are listed as disabilities when you fill out a job application. They're there. However, you don't qualify for disability to be taken out of the workforce and paid disability because I tried. So what exactly is someone like myself supposed to do in these situations where I have a disability that I need time off sometimes to work, but I'm still able to work? I'm 35 years old, and this has been happening to me in several roles that I've had. I work in finance, I've worked in banks, and I cannot say that maybe one employer that I can think of fairly employed me and did not find ways to pip me out of the system once they were made aware of my health condition and the time off that was needed. Most states are at-will states. I live primarily on the East Coast my entire life, and so I'm talking about states such as Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, specifically, Baltimore, Maryland, and I could think of a few other states that have the same policy and procedure. And the procedure is that when you take FMLA, they take your vacation and your sick time, any available time, to pay you for that first, I believe it's 7 days, that first week of your FMLA. If you opt out, then you go unpaid. Some jobs don't even allow you to opt out. So what is someone in my position supposed to do once I take that time off? I come back to work and my vacation time has been taken and all sick time has been taken. So what happens once I return from leave? Am I not supposed to have any vacation or sick time for the rest of that year, that fiscal year? And then when I don't have any vacation or sick time left, any days off are penalized. So then there comes the write-ups or the PIP. And then after that, you're left unemployed without the insurance that you need to continue to be well. And this is the vicious cycle of what has happened to me in employment situations. I can speak about my experience at one particular job, which was U.S. Bank, where I was retaliated against. They had several employees that were in on it that created false situations or lied about situations because it was known that I wasn't liked. And it wasn't because of performance. They could never write me up for performance because I go into these environments knowing my job. It's just the underlying politics, the bullying, the silent blackballing. And I've been silent about it because I've always quietly just moved on to new employment and just led with grace. But this job market now has been so difficult that I feel like it's important that we start speaking about it, that we start talking about it. Discrimination happens as a woman. I'm already in some situations paid less. I am an African American woman. So there's a stigma going in some situations, and I have a disability. I don't know what or how to get this situation remedied or changed or how to even go about it. But I feel like it's my job now to at least shed light on it. That those of us with this invisible disability are being harassed, we're being mistreated, we get faulty write-ups. There's no room for us to take time off after we return from these medical leaves. So if I have a follow-up doctor's appointment, but I've been cleared to come back and my FMLA ends, anytime I take off, if I'm out of that time, I would get written up or penalized. I'm at the mercy of that direct manager or supervisor. I want us to all be aware of what's going on here in the United States. We have a big problem. Maternity leave is already not fair for those that are mothers, but this is another epidemic that we need to look at. I know I'm not the only one. So if you see this video, stand with me to make a change. I don't know how we go about it, but I want to look into it, because these companies get so much for employing diversity, those with disabilities, and then you disclose it and you're either penalized for disclosing it or you're treated unfairly once they do know. There needs to be some type of reform and protection for people like myself that have been told, oh, you don't look sick, as if that's a badge of honor or if that erases the pre-existing condition that I've had since I was a child. I want companies to do better, and I think that I'm at the point where I'm ready to start calling them out, and I'm ready to start championing for change, and hopefully you guys want to stand with me and do it. If not, that's okay too, because I know it can be scary to put your job on the line, but if we don't do anything, we won't get anywhere. So hopefully this reaches the right people and you guys want to stand with me, and let's figure out how to make a change. And to those of you who have an invisible disability, I see you, I'm proud of you, and I hope that it gets easier for all of us.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.